Okay, so Celebrity Traitors episode 1 review 2025. So I think if we go right to the beginning, at the beginning of the episode, you had the little introductions. The celebrities got to know each other. They got to meet each other. They were all sitting in little cars, getting to know people. And I think what some of them mentioned already, I think Claire actually said it, that a lot of them kind of already know each other, or some of them know each other from, being on TV or in the music industry or whatever. So, yeah, and obviously TV presenters and stuff. So a lot of them kind of already had predetermined relationships with each other. So it was just that matter of trying to put that to the past and work out that everyone is no one, basically. And actually, Claudia mentioned it as well when they got to the house, where she was like, in the outside world, you guys are all celebrities and in your own world and whatever. But here, everyone is equal. No one is above the law. No one is above everyone. So, yeah, basically what we saw is all of them travelling in their cars, kind of talking to Claudia as to whether they wanted to be faithfuls or traitors. And before they even announced who was a faithful or a traitor, they had to basically dig up their own graves to get shields. And in the very first game, basically, yeah, the quicker they got their shield, the quicker they were able to save themselves from being murdered that night. And I think actually Nick, he actually started helping Celia at the bottom. And in the end, I think 6 of them got the shields. So it was both Joes, so Joe Marler, Joe Wilkinson, Alan Carr, Celia, Charlotte Church, and one of the others, and Kate Garraway. So yeah, they were the 6 that got the shields. And then obviously we went around to the round table, and it turned out that the 3 traitors that Claudia had decided were Alan Carr, Cat Burns, and where is he? Jonathan Ross. Here he is behind my head. So they were the 3 that were chosen as traitors, which I thought, quite a strong group of traitors. You've got 2 TV personalities, very popular, very, known. And then you obviously got Cat Burns, who's one of the younger ones. So yeah, it was a nice little mix of, traitors and stuff. So when they were all sitting in the kitchen, I think Alan was talking to some of the others, and he basically hinted or thought straight away that Celia and Claire could be traitors. And he was speaking to Paloma, saying that they could be named as like rosemary and thyme, because I think that's like 2 spices or something. So, things that are very close together. So the fact that they're together, they could be planning, traitory stuff together. So he kind of took the heat off of his name straight away. So yeah, that was an interesting, nice little dig. And he was like, there was absolutely no reason for me to pick the 2 of them. They were just standing at the bar, and they were just the 2 that I chose. I also made a quick note that Ruth and Nico made an alliance. Oh, I keep calling Ruth and Lucy the same person. But Ruth and Nico decided to have a little alliance, basically because they're both young. Nico suggested that potentially there was at least one young person who was a traitor, and the both of them basically explained that neither of them are. So, they've had their little team up there as young people. So that was quite an interesting suggestion as well from Nico, because, it's not just going to be 3 older people or 3 younger people, because it would just be a little bit obvious that there's a lot less of faithfuls and stuff together. So that was an interesting collaboration between the 2 of them. But yeah, Ruth, not Lucy. And then I made this little note as well. So yeah, so obviously Lucy and Nico had their little alliance, and so basically they, I think just before the evening, so obviously the 3 traitors were able to meet each other, and it was quite funny because it was just Jonathan and Kat at first, and they're like, oh, I'm so happy it's you, Then obviously Alan's knocked on the door, come in, he's taken his cloak off and just wet himself laughing straight away. So the other 2 were like, oh my god, there's no better person to be in here with than Alan Carr. So yeah, very funny. And it was just so funny how he's just like, he's obviously taken it seriously, but he's not. Like, he's just so funny. He's just naturally funny. So yeah, they had their little giggle, and Claudia basically came in and said, there's no murder tonight, but from tomorrow there will be, and she'll explain how that's going to happen. And then this was the game. So they had their mission, which was to obviously get the Trojan horse from one side to the other side. And if they did, that's 15,000 in the pot towards the chosen charity. So basically at each gate, they had to basically complete a mini game. And obviously if they did, they were able to go through. If not, they had to sacrifice a shield. So in game 1, they had to basically obviously push this Trojan horse and work out who was better at the end, like the stronger ones towards the back and the weaker ones towards the front to kind of, push that horse forward. They had to just decide how many people died in Hamlet and Shakespeare as total. So Claire put in a number, didn't realise she was locking in that number, so obviously technically forfeited that game. And Charlotte decided to give up her shield. In the second game, Nick absolutely smashed the puzzle to get the key out. In game 3, again, Nick absolutely smashed that because basically the words that didn't have letters from the word traitor were the 4 words that needed to be stepped on. And then game 4, they had to work out and memorise what puzzle pieces were on the previous doors. So Tom basically remembered some of them, and he was like, oh, I can't remember the one in between this and this. So he literally sprinted back to work out that it was a castle with however many flags on it. And then to camera, Tamika was like, we can use Tom for anything. Tom! He was like, when is that? He might be the diver in our group, but he can be our guy for anything. So yeah, she was quite funny. And she, in that word game, she was like, it made my eyes go funny. You know, I still don't understand the game now, and, you know, the game's over. So it's just so funny. And then Claudia revealed to the traitors that they had to murder somebody in sight. They had to find the poison black lily, which was kind of like a flower with like a glass tube. And they had to basically touch somebody's face. After touching the flower, touch someone's face to murder them. So, yeah, kind of what we saw in episode 1 is the 3 traitors are standing in the kitchen trying to work out who they should go for. And Alan Carr basically was nominated to do it. And I think he just kind of said, well, it's going to probably have to be a female cast member, because it's almost like, oh, you've got a bit of something on your face, let me get it off for you kind of thing. And probably just the first person that he sees. I don't think there's going to be much thought in it. I think it's just going to be more of a, oh, love, you got something on your face. But it's whether or not they think that that's a traitor-like thing, or whether he was just genuinely being nice. So hopefully it's something that they will forget about. But imagine if that woman, you know, whoever he touches goes, oh, you know, Alan touched my face yesterday. That was a bit weird. He could have told me, but was it something to do with touch? I don't know. So yeah, that was the end of episode 1. So as of now, they're all kind of leaving or about to start leaving for the midnight bell. So Alan's kind of running around sweating his head off, trying to work out who he's going to murder in plain sight. So yeah, that's it for episode 1. So if you do enjoy, and you have enjoyed my review, don't forget to like, share, and all of that stuff. And until my next review, thank you for watching, and bye. Gosh, I feel like such a YouTuber. I'm going to be the next Nico and Milana. All right, bye.